if you have any health kind of weak links, if you're fatigued or if you're dehydrated or if you have gut issues or if you're stressed and you're tired, when you fast, those things will be highlighted for you. So whatever symptom you have when you fast, take note. Don't blame the fast. Go inwards and become mindful of why you're feeling the way that you're feeling. And you might realize, actually, I have a much bigger task here than I thought. This isn't just about fasting. This is about what I'm going to do with the rest of my lifestyle. To the final day of the fasting masterclass. I can't believe we're here already. It came so quick and it finished quickly as well. I've had a really good time chatting to you guys and just hearing the feedback from the fasting, especially from the 18-hour fast that you did yesterday. People have come back with nothing but positive results from that. So I heard from one of the ladies this morning, and I absolutely love what she said. She said she got through the 18-hour fast. She managed to do an exercise class at the same time. And she had a little bit of a headache this morning, but it must be because she's stressed or needs water. And the fact that she said that last part, the fact that she said she might be stressed or needs water, that says to me already, I've already made an impact with her, because she hasn't said, oh, I've got a headache because of the fasting. She's actually turned it on herself, and she's realized that fasting isn't a cause of your symptoms. It doesn't cause headaches. It doesn't cause a bad tummy. It doesn't cause digestive issues. It doesn't cause fatigue, but it highlights it. So if you have any health kind of weak links, if you're fatigued or if you're dehydrated or if you have gut issues or if you're stressed and you're tired, when you fast, those things will be highlighted for you. So whatever symptom you have when you fast, take note. Don't blame the fast. Go inwards and become mindful of why you're feeling the way that you're feeling. And you might realize, actually, I have a much bigger task here than I thought. This isn't just about fasting. This is about what I'm going to do with the rest of my lifestyle. So I love how this makes you then think, okay, so how is my diet? Is my diet overall causing my digestive issues? I've been constipated. I've been having diarrhea. Is my diet to blame? Am I getting enough exercise? Why am I so tired? Do I need to get up and start moving? Why am I getting headaches? Why do I feel so fatigued? Am I really stressed? Do I need to take my foot off the pedal? Do I need to start being more relaxed and going inwards a bit more? So I love how fasting opens that window for you. It gets you thinking, wow, okay, what do I need to do with my life to feel really good in a year's time? I have this obsession, ladies, of seeing you again next year. So I want to host these workshops regularly throughout the year. So I want to do them every quarter. So every quarter of the year, every few months, I want to get onto Zoom and I want to chat about fasting. I want to give you a refresh. I want to take your tips from this fasting masterclass, and I want to bring them on to the next fasting masterclass, so I can teach you the stuff that you guys really want to know. So I want to appear on here regularly throughout the year. I want to be with you, holding your hand if necessary, all throughout the year, so that you feel supported on your fasting journey. But I have this obsession of seeing you in a year's time, and actually seeing your face and just seeing what you have to say about how your life has kind of changed since you've been fasting. Have you been losing weight? Have you changed your relationship with food? Do you feel like you're craving less? I have this thing in my head that I feel like I need to see you next year, and we need to do this again, and we need to touch base and see how far you've come. I hope you agree with me. Let's make a deal. Let's make a pact. We're going to do that together, right? We're going to do that. So I want to start today's masterclass with a quote from Rumi. So Rumi is a famous poet from the 1200s, and he is famous for his amazing quotes. He's very, very philosophical and has a lot of life lessons to teach us. And a quote he has, it's one of my favorites. He says, "There's a hidden sweetness in the stomach's emptiness." And I really like that, because I wonder if you agree. If you did the 18-hour fast, or if you're doing any fasting of any kind, how does it feel when your stomach is free from food? How does it feel day to day? Does it feel light? Does it feel kind of energetic? Does it feel calm? And you just not even notice it anymore. Maybe usually you notice your gut, like you can feel it. There's a sensation. You feel your jeans are feeling a bit tight. But when you're fasting, do those things go away? I wonder. And for me, I told you on the first day that one of the first things that helped me get over my binge eating disorder was fasting, because I loved the feeling of my stomach. My stomach felt light. It felt, can't think of a better word, just light. And it was free from pain and cramps and bloating. I'm going to give you another recap of what I talked about yesterday, because I kind of whizzed through the ideal fasts that I recommend you do over a period of a week, and maybe even over a period of a month. So I'm just going to recap that once more, just so that you have a plan going forwards. I'm also going to talk about the foods and the drinks that you how you should be fasting. So what you're allowed to drink basically when you're fasting, and basically what the biology is behind it, so that you understand it on a really, really deep level. And then I'm going to go through some frequently asked questions, things about exercise, about the thyroid hormone, the questions that come up all the time. I'm going to address them before you even know you have them. And then I'm going to give you a special offer at the end. And I'll just give you a sneak peek into what the special offer is. So basically, I said to you yesterday, I don't want this to end for you and me. I want you to make a positive change this year using fasting, because I know it works. I know it can do amazing things for your body. I know it to my core, because I've had enough confirmation of that from ladies in my previous programs and from my own experience as well. So I have a 30-day program that I want to talk to you about just at the end. Okay, but for now, let's just carry on. So, girls, when you fast, your gut, we know it starts to heal. It starts to have a break from food, from toxins, from just calories and, absorption and excretion. And it has a break from all of that stuff, and it starts to heal. So your gut is a clean slate by the time it comes to eating again, especially if you go for a more long fast, like a 1 meal a day or an 18-hour fast. So what I love about fasting is that it gets you thinking about everything. So when your gut heals after a fast, your trillions of bacteria in your gut, they're also rebalancing themselves. So in your gut, you have good bacteria and you have bad bacteria. Now they're at loggerheads every day. So every day they're kind of like fighting it out, who's going to win, the good guys or the bad guys. If the bad guys win, you feel sick, you probably have rashes and thrush and digestive issues and autoimmunity. But if the good guys are winning, you're feeling great. You're on top of the world. Your mood is enhanced. Your immunity is great. So what fasting does is it helps to calibrate the good guys and the bad guys, and it helps the good guys win. It's kind of pushing them forwards. It's kind of pushing them up. And it's kind of pushing down but the bad guys. Because here's the thing, the bad guys are only thriving because of the things you eat and the things you drink and your stress levels. Those three things, those are the only reasons why your bad bacteria might be overcoming the good guys. So anyway, fasting makes the good guys bigger than the bad guys. So it gets you thinking, when you have your first meal after you fasted, I want you to think next time, do I want to continue this good work? Do I want to continue to help my gut thrive? Do I want to continue the healing process? Do I want to continue to burn fat? Or do I want to take a step back and eat some junk food or eat a kind of filthy takeout or, some sweets or some chocolate? Which one do you want? And fasting is not a calorie counting diet. It's not a calorie counting diet. I don't want you counting calories here. But I do want you to be mindful today about those first meals after a fast. And I want you to really start to think about how you really want to go forwards this year. I want you to be more intentional with the foods you pick. Now, you don't have to be perfect. I'm not perfect. Oh my gosh. Over Christmas and New Year. Oh, so my in-laws are here. They brought biscuits and chocolate, and we had the Christmas dinner and we had the New Year festivities. And I know some of you don't celebrate Christmas, but the festivities have been happening. And I went to town. I'll tell you, I went to town, but I know that I'll always correct it as soon as I can, because I prefer to feel good. I prefer to feel light. I prefer to feel healed. And I don't want bloating. I don't want cravings. I don't want to feel shit. I don't want to feel fatigued. So I want you to have more intention this year. Really think about the food that you're eating and make the right choice as much as you can. Okay. So just a little recap of the fasts that I recommend going forwards. So if you have a week, I recommend something like the following. You can change it if you want to, but I recommend, for example, a 16-hour fast on Monday, a 14-hour fast on Tuesday, an 18-hour fast on Wednesday, then back to a 14-hour fast on Thursday, so that you can kind of fill up on your calories that you didn't have the day before. Then a 16-hour fast on Friday, a 1 meal a day on Saturday, and then a 14-hour fast on Sunday. So do you see how it's kind of going up and down, up and down, up and down? And then as and when you're ready, throw in a 36-hour fast once a month. Try that on for size. See how something like that works for you. And be mindful of the food you eat. Stay hydrated. Get outside. Exercise whenever you can. And you're on your way to a fabulous lifestyle this year. So I hope that guideline helps and you can change it as per your routine. So when it comes to your fast, then I want you guys to be absolute pros by the time you leave here. So the thing, I definitely don't want you fasting and then drinking your tea with milk and with sugar and like, this is a delicious fast. I definitely don't want that happening with you guys. So I want to make sure that you're fasting right. So let me tell you the whole point of why we fast. I'm about to tell you the single point, the single reason why we fast, and the single reason why it has such a brilliant impact on your body. Okay, you ready for it? It's to simply keep your blood sugar as low as possible throughout the day. That's it. That's the entire point of fasting, to keep your blood sugar levels low. Because you may know that a crazy blood sugar roller coaster or elevated blood sugar levels can lead to a whole array of metabolic diseases like heart disease, diabetes, obesity, Alzheimer's, the risk of stroke, being overweight, craving. That is the absolute core reason why any of those things happen. So if you are to bring your blood sugar levels down to baseline for as long as possible every day, then you are on your way to fantastic health. So we know that you always have to have a minimum amount of blood sugar. You always have to have sugar in your blood, everyone, at all times, to live. But when you eat something, your blood sugar levels will rise. And then when you don't eat, they'll fall. So you kind of know that. So when it comes to things that you can have during a fast, the basic rule is anything that keeps your blood sugar level at baseline. So basically, no calories. However, there is a trick to that, and I'm going to come to that in a second. So first of all, obviously, water. Water will not touch your blood sugar levels. So any kind of water, fizzy water, and still water. It could be water from a bottle. It could be water from a tap. It could be whatever water is easy for you. Water won't touch your blood sugar levels. Herbal tea won't touch your blood sugar levels. So things like chamomile tea, peppermint tea, rooibos tea, I think that's how you pronounce it. I've never known how to pronounce that. And actually, green tea is a big recommendation from myself, backed up by science. So I hope you go and buy some green tea after this for your fasts. And here's the reason why. Green tea is sort of like a super drink. Like it's a very, you probably heard all about green tea and how it's so good. But here's why it's good for fasting. Green tea helps you to burn fat. It helps with anti-aging. And it helps to prevent metabolic disease. Do those three sound familiar? Fasting does the same thing. It burns fat. It helps with anti-aging, with the autophagy from yesterday. Do you remember the cells? And it prevents metabolic disease. So if you fast with lots and lots of green tea, then you are really compounding the effects of what you're doing. So that's my little tip for you. Black coffee. So black coffee is an interesting one. Yes, you can drink black coffee on a fast. I don't want to take all of the good stuff away from you. But just to let you know, black coffee in some unique individuals will actually take their blood sugar up. So black coffee can actually cause someone to break a fast without them even knowing it. So that's really, really interesting. However, there is something I want to introduce to you now. If you're serious about a fasting lifestyle, if you think, I'm really loving this information, how do I know more? How do I get into this more? Well, I'll give you a really, really trendy tip for you right now. And it's so trendy that even I am not doing it yet, because I get weird about stuff. So basically, if you get hold of a blood glucose monitor, so blood glucose monitors are usually used in diabetics so they can test their blood glucose. But now they're being used in the fasting communities and the keto communities and just the health sphere, because people are really locking on to this fact that blood sugar is everything to your health. Having a balanced blood sugar level is the cornerstone to health. So everyone's clocking on to that now. So if you get a blood glucose monitor, they're not expensive. You can get them in the pharmacy. I ordered mine off Amazon. I think it was about $15. I think my one was Cayman dollars. And you basically, after you, in the morning when you wake up, you test your blood sugar levels, your fasting blood sugar levels. And it should be 99 or below. That's the healthy level. And every time you eat, about half an hour later, you just prick your finger, test your the blood spot on the machine, and it will tell you how much your blood sugar has risen. That's why I haven't done it yet. I've got a blood glucose monitor in my room, but I actually haven't been using it because I'm too squeamish. But I am looking at the idea of a continuous glucose monitor. So the ones that people put onto their arm, and it monitors like a month's worth of blood sugar levels. I just think it's the most interesting thing. And if you really want to get stuck into this fasting lifestyle, then I recommend looking into it and getting hold of one of them. So anyway, if you're really a stickler and you want to know if coffee takes you out of your fast, then a blood glucose monitor is the best way to do that. And if your blood glucose goes up by, let's say, 10 points after a cup of coffee, then you can say that's sort of broken a fast. So, but I would say overall, drink black coffee. I don't want to take that away from you. I wouldn't take it away from myself. Okay, so here's where the loophole is when it comes to fasting and food. So if the whole point of fasting is to keep your blood sugar levels low and at baseline, what if you have something that contains no sugar whatsoever? And that is the loophole, my friends. That is the loophole. So the general recommendation is, if you want to have a proper healing fast, then don't have any calories. So no calories, even if it's just pure fat and it has no sugar in it. But if you are, let's say, doing a long fast, let's say you're doing one meal a day, or let's say you're doing 36-hour fast, and you're absolutely desperate to eat something, but you don't want to break your fast either. You're like, oh, I'm so stuck. I really want to eat something. I can't focus, but I really want to keep going. If that happens, then choose something that is pure fat, because protein can raise your blood sugar levels. So pure fat. So something like MCT oil. It's a type of coconut oil, and you may have heard of it in the kind of diet kind of community, but MCT oil, it's available in health food shops and even supermarkets, maybe, the fancy ones. You can basically put it into your coffee and you can whiz it up in a blender and it becomes a kind of fatty coffee. And that's very trendy. People like their coffee with some MCT oil. And MCT oil is actually really good for helping you burn even more fat. That's why MCT oil is so popular in the keto diet community, because it accelerates fat burning. So that's your option if you're desperate to eat something. But if you're not, then I would hold off from all calories to have a genuine fast. Another interesting point are sweeteners. So you might be thinking, well, sweeteners have no calories. So what does that mean? Well, I would say if it will make or break your fast, if you're like, I can't carry on unless I have something, like I need something sweet, like I can't do this unless I just have some like a sweetness, or so if it will make or break your fast, then yes, have something sweet. So maybe a sweetened sparkling water, like LaCroix sparkling water, or a bit of sweetener in your coffee. But the problem with sweeteners is that they can change your microbiome. So if you want to have a really good, genuine fast, then a sweetener can actually upset the balance of your microbiome. So studies have shown. So that's your call. I would recommend to avoid sweeteners, but if you really want them, then have them. I don't think it's going to cause a huge problem. So I hope that that sort of clarifies for you what a fast should look like when you're doing one. Next up, just a couple of lifestyle tips here. This is really interesting. Oh, lemon. Yeah. That should be fine because as long as you don't squeeze the lemon into the water, because then that would have some calorie, that would have some calories. But I'd say lemon water should be fine because it's just lemon essence. It's just like an essence of lemon. And I think I actually, in my fasting program, I think I actually say lemon water is absolutely fine. So yeah, that shouldn't be a problem. That shouldn't be a problem. But if you really want to know, get a blood glucose monitor and check after some lemon water and see if your glucose goes up. Anyway, so just some lifestyle things. Exercise and stress. Okay. Both exercise and stress change your blood sugar. So when you exercise, your blood sugar levels go up. When you're stressed, your blood sugar levels go up. So you're probably thinking, oh God, will exercise break my fast? Well, the answer is no, because the reason why exercise releases blood sugar into your blood is because it just wants to take that sugar and put it straight into the muscles. So if your blood sugar levels go up when you exercise, that blood sugar is being used straight away. And also, the more you exercise, the better metabolism you'll have, the better fat burner you'll be, and just the more efficient human being you are. So exercise and fasting are fantastic together because they compound each other's effects. They help with fat burning, anti-aging, increased energy. They help fight fatigue. They help increase your metabolism. They fight cravings. They both work together and they do the same thing. So exercise is not something that breaks your fast. However, stress is a different thing. Now, when I talk about stress, I don't mean like when I was getting my kids ready for work, ready for nursery this morning. So I get stressed every morning. And I'm just like, where's the brush? Like I could never find the brush, and they never leave the door like as soon as I want them to. They're always kind of looking for their shoes, and I'm always like, get out the door, we're late. So I'm not really talking about that kind of stress. I'm talking about chronic stress, the kind of stress that you feel every day, and you would describe it as chronic, like something that doesn't go away. Now, someone said something really interesting. I can't remember who it was, but they said, when it comes to your blood sugar levels, stress is like eating a cookie because your blood sugar levels go sky high. Because when you're stressed, your body doing its thing, wanting to help, wanting to save the situation, it needs to release sugar into your blood so that you can use it to function and to carry on and to get through the situation. However, if you're chronically stressed, that means your blood sugar levels are always high. I had a brilliant podcast episode a few weeks ago with Dr. Kelly Ruff, and she is a female hormone expert. And she said that chronic stress elevates your blood sugar levels so much so that you start to store fat, and you start to store fat around your stomach and kind of in the undesirable areas. And because cortisol is a stress hormone, and cortisol, if there's too much over a long period of time, it can actually change the way your body functions. So what I want to say is, look, when you fast, the first rule is to choose a day where you're the least stressed possible. So if you're doing a 1 meal a day and you're about to have a stressful meeting and you know you're going to a CrossFit class that night and you know you're having some issues with a certain relationship and you're not feeling great, then just ditch the fast. Don't fast when you're feeling really, really stressed. And like I said, the fasting lifestyle, I love it because it makes you look at your life as a whole. And if you are really committed to losing weight, getting in shape, being the best you can in 2023, then if stress is a problem for you, then maybe it's time for you to look at it and to start to cleave off the things that you don't need. Now, I know that's easier said than done, but for example, myself, I have a tendency to get very, very stressed out. I have and when I get stressed, I get anxious and I feel sick, and it's just, I don't take stress very well, to be honest. So recently, I've realized I'm done. I'm done with the way I am, the way I think, because that's half of the stress for me. So this year, I've been putting myself first a lot more, and I've been resting more because I tend to go and think if I'm not going, then I'm not progressing, or I'm not doing what I should be doing in a weird way. So this year I'm like, no, stress is not worth it for me. Like, it's not good for my health. So this year I'm committing to that. And if you feel you need to make the same commitment, then let fasting show you how much you need to reduce your stress. It will show you. It will show you. If you feel tired, if you feel fatigued when you fast, if you feel like you can't cope, that's not the fast. That's something you need to change in your lifestyle. So let's look at everything this year. So when you fast, I've already said, choose the right foods when you break your fast. Choose whole foods wherever possible. Avoid processed foods. Avoid foods that have ingredients that you don't understand. So if you look at the back of a label and it says, and you're like, what is that? Start to question that now. Start to think, what is that? What am I putting into my body? And think about your gut. Think about all the hard work you've done with your fast, and then think about the toxin that you're about to put in. Really question the things that you wanted to put into your body now. Just really think about it. Your diet doesn't have to be perfect in order for this fasting program to work. Fasting does a lot of heavy lifting. So even if your diet isn't perfect yet and you'd rather fast first, get to grips with that, and then come to the diet later, that's fine. That's perfect. I agree. Establish your fasting lifestyle first and then deal with the diet second. I think that's a nice plan going forwards. I see fasting like Everest. So if your goal to lose weight and to be awesome is the top of Everest, I think fasting is like base camp. So if you reach base camp and you just fast and you learn how to do that, then once you've established that, then you can start to build on more healthy habits. Like, I'm not going to eat chocolate today. Or I think I'm going to cut down on all the coffee I drink. Like, I drink about 10 cups. Maybe I'll cut back a bit. Just start with the fasting first and then build from there. So just say you've done a long fast, like anything below 24 hours, you can sort of break your fast with a healthy meal and you don't have to worry too much. I mean, I think with the 18-hour fast, maybe your first meal was fine. Like you enjoyed it and it was great, and then you moved on. But for longer fasts, it's a different story. Anything over 24 hours, I find, is you've got to be really careful with what you put in first, in terms of quantity and in terms of what the food actually is. When I did do you remember when I told you about the 1 meal a day that I did not too long ago? I was very, very hungry by the time it came to my first meal, and I had a huge dinner to break my fast. Now, you only have to use common sense to think, okay, your gut's been meditating, and suddenly it's got a pile of food coming in, and suddenly it's like, oh shoot, wake up wake up, we've got to digest this thing. So what tends to happen is, if you have a huge meal or even a normal size meal after a long fast, you might get symptoms, like bad symptoms. So when I had my 1 meal a day and I had a big dinner, I had tummy cramps for the entire night. And I was like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. And I knew I shouldn't have done it. I teach this stuff, but I was like, no, I'm hungry, I can do this. So I did it, and I had tummy cramps for the whole night. And some of my ladies on my fasting programs as well, some of them have reported to, feel a bit unwell after their first meal because they went a bit too fast. So I want to tell you now how to ease yourself back into a feasted state after your fast. So after a 24-hour fast, you should usually start with something liquid and something small. So I know the temptation is to have something like as soon as possible, but it's going to work against you, I promise. I've been there. Have something small and something liquidy, like a soup. So breaking your fast with a soup is a really good idea. And if it has some protein in it, like if you have like a protein shake, or if you have a bone broth, or even a vegetable broth if you're vegetarian, some sort of liquidy small meal, then that's your test. If you're okay and you're like, that feels good, maybe about 30 minutes later, try something else small. So maybe think, okay, maybe I'll have some vegetables, or, maybe I'll have a little bit of meat. Maybe I'll have some nuts and seeds, and like just really start to trickle in the whole foods. And then after that small meal, if you're okay, then half an hour later, try another small meal, and just keep drip feeding it in until you're sure that you're fine. What comes to mind is, I remember when I was a child, my dad used to buy lots of fish, as in for the pond. And what he used to do was, I don't know if you've ever owned fish as pets, but you bring them home in a bag of water, and then you don't just put them into the pond because they'll die. The temperature's wrong, the pH is wrong, like everything's just different for them. So if you put them in a completely different environment, they'll die. So what you do is you put them in the bag in the water so that they can adjust to the temperature. And then only then, when you know that the temperature is adjusted, the fish is fine in the bag, only then can you open the bag and just let the fish kind of find its own way. So it's kind of similar if you think about it. Ease your way in. If you're fasting for, let's say, 36 hours, or let's say you try 48 hours, or let's say you do some reading and you want to try a 3-day fast, it might take you a whole day to eat properly after that. So you might have to literally eat small, tiny meals for the whole next day after a fast like that, because your gut is really not ready for it. So just keep those things in mind. The refeeding phase is just as important as the fast itself. So I want you to take that whole picture with you into your fasting lifestyle. So that sort of brings me to the end of food and fasting and how to break a fast and what foods you can eat and drink. I'm going to come to some frequently asked questions, and then you can ask some questions as well if you have them. But I wonder if I'll answer them for you now. So a really common question is, can I fast during a workout? And the answer is yes. I adore a fasted workout. There's nothing better when you wake up in the morning, your body is already in fat burning mode because you've been fasting overnight. So your body is already switching from sugar to fat, and it's burning away, it's burning away. And then you go for a light workout with an empty stomach. There's nothing better. I feel energetic, I feel incredible. But that's because I've been fasting for a long time. If you don't feel comfortable fasting during a workout, then that's fine. Take your time. Like maybe your body's not ready for it. It just needs to get used to it. But yes, you can fast when you work out. So any of you who are interested in exercise and building muscle, so if you want to be super toned, the best way to do that is to lose body fat and to build a bit of muscle. Those that are two things: lose body fat and build some muscle. So for those of you on that journey, you might be thinking, well, I've always learned that muscle needs food to stay like dense and to stay built. Well, that's not true. So like I said, your muscles, your ancient muscles that have been around for millions of years, and you know the world has kind of built it for you, your muscle doesn't need you to drip feed food all throughout the day in order to keep it, you know, functioning and to keep it going. You don't lose muscle when you fast, basically. And actually, fasting is a good way to preserve muscle. There are many studies showing that. So, you know, on the first day, I was discussing Ramadan, which is basically one of the biggest intermittent fasting trials that there is. Ramadan has been studied. The 5-2 intermittent fast has been studied, and the alternate day fast has been studied. And a meta-analysis has shown that in all of these cases, muscle mass was not lost in any case. However, there is a time when your body is like, okay, I don't have any food, I can't maintain this muscle mass anymore. That happens at about 72 hours. So if you do a 3-day fast, know that you may start to dip into your muscle mass and your muscles might start to be broken down to be used for energy. But that's only for those long, long fasts, 72 hours plus. 36 hours, even 48 hours has been shown to actually keep muscle. So you don't have to worry about that. The next one is the thyroid. So this is a big question. A lot of the criticism about fasting is that it's bad for your thyroid health. Now, I'm going to tell you why that comes across like that and why it's not true, though. So your thyroid is in charge of your metabolism. When you fast, it has been shown in studies that the hormone T3, which is the active thyroid hormone, the thyroid hormone that actually does the metabolism stuff and actually kind of meddles with your metabolism, the active thyroid hormone actually increases, which has been seen to be a bad thing. It's kind of messing with your hormone levels. But then studies have also shown that when you finish fasting, your thyroid levels, T3, comes down straight away and it goes back to baseline. So that's the first thing. Yes, your thyroid hormone does change. The levels will change in the fast. But then as soon as you stop fasting, your thyroid hormone levels go back to normal. The second thing is the reason why thyroid problems have been linked to fasting is because fasting is linked to chronic calorie restriction. And I've already said to you, I don't want you to chronically restrict your calories. I want you to eat a normal amount of calories over a week, but you're just distributing them in small windows in time. If you fast too much, let's say you do one meal a day, then 18 hours, then, oh, I'm going to try a 36-hour fast. Then you're just trying one fast after another, and you're basically not eating enough food. Yes, you're going to have thyroid problems and a whole other host of problems if you're not giving your body the nutrients that it needs. So that's why thyroid and fasting, they've been linked to not being good together because of the calorie issue. So please eat enough calories over a period of a week. Make sure you're getting enough food. Is alcohol okay when fasting? That's a common question. No, because alcohol has calories, and also alcohol isn't great for your liver. So you don't want to be, you don't want to mess with your liver health in any way. And also supplements. Shall I supplement while I'm fasting? And the answer is, if the supplement has no calories, then yes, you can have it during a fast. And you can just check the back of the bottle and it tells you how many calories it has. Okay, I'm very aware of the time. And I know some of you are ahead in time and it's bedtime soon. So I'm going to basically just wrap it up. So ladies, that is the end of the 3-day fasting masterclass. I can't believe, it just came and went so quickly. Look, it's my hope that you leave here with a plan of how to fast going forwards. And I also want you to take away a new appreciation for fasting. I don't want you to be afraid of it. I want you to, I want you to support it and support your body. And I want you to be successful. I want you to do this. So I really hope that this 3-day masterclass helped. And I'll definitely be hosting another one in a few months' time. So I'm hoping to see you again then. But first of all, before you go, I have an offer for you. I have a special offer. Because look, I want to help you now. I feel like we've kind of built a relationship. Those of you who are on the call, but then also those of you who I know are at home, I know you're watching the replays because you're messaging me and you're telling me how you're doing. So I feel like we have something going on and I don't want it to end. And I don't want it to end for you because I don't want you to leave this masterclass and then try fasting for a bit and then forget about it and kind of carry on how you were. I want this to work for you now, and I want to be there for you and I want to help you live your fasting lifestyle. I want to, when a rocket takes off into space, did you know that 90% of its fuel is used in the first takeoff phase? When there's fire and the ground is shaking and metal is clanging and the ship is breaking, and that's 90% of its fuel. But then once it's in the sky and it's floating along, that's the last 10% of its fuel for the rest of its journey. So I see my She Fasts 30-day program as like takeoff. So it's the first 30 days when you're taking on a new habit. You're not sure if you're doing it right. you're feeling hungry, it feels uncomfortable, you're getting headaches, you probably feel like, oh, I'm not sure if my body is built for this. I'm not sure if I can do this. You're probably researching online, why does fasting cause fatigue? Or how to fast? What breaks a fast? And all that time that you might spend researching and typing into Google, I just don't want that stuff for you. I want you to have support, and I want you to have someone there on tap to answer your questions. That'll be me. And I also want you to have a community of women who are doing exactly the same thing. You're all taking off, and you're all taking off into the sky. And after 30 days, which is how long it takes to establish a new habit, then you're going to be floating along. And once you're in the program, the She Fasts program that I'm offering, once you're in it for good. So you can stick with me for as long as you want. You have the resources forever. You have the online program forever. And I will never ask you to leave. You'll always be there. I will always be there. And the ladies will always be there, the women that you do it with. So I want to take you safely and effectively through fasting. Now, in the 30-day program, I'll just quickly, I'm very aware of time, but I take the ladies through juice fasts, bone broth fasts. Oh, you need to know the benefits of the bone broth fast. We try one meal a day, and we have a 36-hour challenge at the end of the fasting program. And the 36-hour challenge doesn't have to be done. You don't have to do that at the end of the program. And actually, only 20% of women do. But the challenge is there. So it's kind of like dangling the carrot at the end. And it's, but trust me, you'll be experimenting with so many fasts over 30 days. By the time you get to the 36-hour fast, you might be like, okay, I think I'll do it another time. Like, I'm not ready to do it. I've done a lot of fasting. Like, I just need a break. So yeah, but the challenge is there, and it's always great fun to see who carries it out. Women have lost 3 to 10 pounds on these programs. It's just incredible. And when you join, you get an ebook, which I've written, and I call it an ebook because it's become a very lengthy, comprehensive document, which I'm not even sure the ladies even read it properly, because it's a lot of information. But for those of you who want to know the science behind fasting, and you want to know everything there is to know about fasting, in my ebook explains it all. We have 4 Zoom calls, so I'll host an hour every week over 30 days to talk you through the week to come. So I'm like, girls, this week we're going to do 16-hour fast, and we're going to do 1 meal a day at the end of the week. We're going to do a bone broth fast, and we basically recalibrate every Monday. And you have access to online videos, which if you enroll today, you can get access now. So you can actually start now looking through all of the content. The program, the 30 days, starts on the 23rd of January. So that is next Monday, not this Monday, but the next Monday, because I want the women to have a week to prepare their body and mind before we start on the 23rd of Jan. So you need that time to build up and to prepare for the month that you're about to have. I recommend you detox. I recommend that you eat the right foods, and I recommend that you exercise, and I recommend that you sweat often, you poop often, and you just really start thinking about your detoxification pathways in preparation for the 23rd of January. So the earlier you enroll and you get the information on how to do that, the better. So after this call, I'm going to send you an email where you can click the link and you can enroll. There's a $50 discount before the 23rd of Jan. So you've got a week to take hold of this $50 discount. Now, yesterday I told you that the discounted rate is $199. And I forgot to mention that that's Cayman dollars. And if you're working in pounds, Great British pounds, that's approximately £199 as well. But because we've got people from all over the world, I've actually put the price in US dollars online. So it's actually $245 US online. And that's the discounted rate of the course. And it goes up by $50 after the 23rd of Jan. That's the details I want to give you. So I'll send an email after this. You're very welcome to enroll straight away, and you can have the content ASAP.